tonight we are doing a series that we're calling The Gift. And we'll spend the next couple of Sundays talking about this idea of the gifts that God has given to us and different gifts that we get during the season. So, as a matter of fact, I entitled the sermon, Gift Suggestions from the Magi. Okay? Now, if you are planning on buying me a gift, thank you. Go ahead and do it. REI has a sale going on, I think, right now. You also can, another name you can put on the check is just CASH instead of spelling my whole name out. I'm fine with that too. Okay? But really, the Beatles had a pretty good, truthful statement when they said, you can't buy me love. Some of the greatest gifts you can get this season have nothing to do with finances. But they are things that can change people's lives in a powerful way. And so we see in the book of Matthew, the Magi, the wise men, or we might call them, in Matthew chapter 2, it said, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose, and we have come to worship him. And as they worshiped him, as they finally found him, and they came in, they brought him gifts. And verse 10 says, they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. These are the gifts that they brought. But I think there's also some other gifts that they brought that we would like to talk about this morning. So you guys, during the next several weeks, we're going to be taking lots of these name tags that you get, and you're going to be writing from your name. Well, wives will be writing your name, and who it's to. Wives, if you're anything like Tammy, you'll also be writing, this is from Rob, even though she went and bought it for me to give to somebody. I've had many Christmases that somebody goes, they take a gift, and they go, oh, this is from Rob. Thank you, Rob. And I'm like, you bet. I didn't know I got you a gift, but yeah, I hope it fits, okay? You're going to be filling lots of these name tags out. And we want to encourage you that without adding a whole lot to your time or schedule or finances, we want to encourage you to, you know what, to make some gifts that are to other people that are from, or that are from you to other people that are from you to God. You can give gifts to God. And then we'll talk about in a few weeks the gifts that God has for you. Okay? But as we go through this, here are some of the gifts that I think the wise men brought also besides the gold, the frankincense, and myrrh. They gave the gift of time. And on December 22nd, the Sunday that we'll have before Christmas, we're going to talk about the gift of time. They brought possessions, obviously, the gold, the frankincense, and myrrh. But they also brought encouragement. And they also brought the gift of the gospel with them. And we want to talk about these last three and how you can give that gift over the next several weeks in different ways. The first gift they gave is the gift of possessions as they came to Jesus. They came in and they brought them these gifts. Now, you may not know this, but chances are that Mary and Joseph were very poor people. Part of the reason that we suspect that they were so poor is because remember that when they had Jesus, an angel told them to flee and to go into Egypt? Well, in those days, you stayed close to home usually because your brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and father and mother, you kind of worked as a village together to help each other through hard times and to take care of each other. But the three of them had to pack up and run for their lives. And Joseph is a carpenter. He's probably not making a lot of money. We believe that they were probably poor early on when they had Jesus because it says that when they went to the temple to make a sacrifice, for poor people, you would just bring a pair of doves or maybe a young pigeon because that's all you could afford to sacrifice. If you made a certain amount of money, it was usually expected that you would bring a larger sacrifice. But we see that they come into the temple and that all they can afford is the most inexpensive gift to give to God. But years later, the wise men show up. And they give the gift of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Now, you guys might have noticed at the back, we've got a little shiny globe back there. And that is a dehumidifier, what is it? A diffuser. I always get those confused, okay? Tammy has bought these really nice oils, and I insulted her the other day by saying, man, I like to have those fumes smell. They are not fumes, okay? If you want to go back there and smell that, that is the smell of myrrh. And so we thought it'd just be fun if you want to go back there and go, what does myrrh smell like? There's a good chance Jesus' house smelled like myrrh for a while, okay? Tammy's grandma's house has a certain smell. Whenever we smell that smell, we go, oh, that's grandma's house. That might have been what Jesus' house smelled like, okay? That smell of myrrh, it's kind of cool that myrrh is actually from Bethlehem that my daughter bought me when she got to go to Bethlehem. See, oh, Dennis, he's back there getting to it right now. Okay? So they brought these gifts for them, and chances are, once they received these gifts, they went from being poor to doing very well financially because of these gifts. And did you know, well, you know this time of year, there's lots of people around us who they could use the gift of extra finances. And some of these people, I kind of put this in quotations, but some of these people, they do deserve for you to help them out. Because they're not bad people, they haven't made bad choices. All of us in this room have had times in our lives where, man, just something went wrong. It seems like everything in the kitchen broke at once, or all four of the cars died down, or the medical bills came in, or something happened with the job. We've all had times where, man, finances have been tight, and it wasn't because we did anything wrong. It's just that's how life happens sometimes. And you can be a blessing to those people during this time of your life. You can be a blessing to them all year round. Tammy and I have had people who have come to us in the past and said, you know what, we heard about what's going on in your life. We want to give you this elaborate gift. And we've said, oh, thank you, can we please pay you back? And I remember one friend of mine said, why would you insult me by offering? You're making this a transition, not a gift, to try to pay me back. There are some people who they just need our help every now and then. And they deserve for us to give them a hand and help them out. Because you've been helped out. I've been helped out. But we also know there's lots of people that they do not deserve the help. There's lots of people that they've had plenty of opportunities, they've been helped in the past, and they have blown it, and they've made horrible decisions, and they've spent their money poorly, and they've abused the finances they've been given, and there are people that they have really done a horrible job with managing and making good decisions in their life. And you know what? If you decide to go ahead and bless that person anyways, you know what that's called? That's called grace. I love this definition that mercy is not getting what you do deserve. And grace is getting what you don't deserve in a positive way. So for example, let's say you're driving down the street and you're speeding. You were only going 9 over. That's the acceptable amount, right? Okay? You get the double digits. That's when the police officer should give you the ticket. You're only going 9 miles over an hour in a school zone, okay? And you get pulled over, and if the police officer came up and it's obvious that you're guilty, and he says, you know what, you're guilty, I've got you on the radar, I've got you on the camera, the ticket is $250 for your speeding, but I'm not going to give it to you. I'm going to show you mercy. You would go, oh, thank you. That is such a great gift. Now, what grace would be is if then that guy pulled out his wallet, and he said, here, matter of fact, here's $250, I'm going to give that to you. Well, that makes no sense. That isn't fair. Exactly. That's how God treats us every day of our lives. Amen? He gives us mercy. He doesn't treat us how our sins deserve. And on top of that, He pours out blessings and blessings every day. If you decide during this season to maybe try to bless somebody who maybe doesn't even deserve it, you get a very small glimpse of what it feels like to give the gift of grace to somebody in the power of God. I love what Philippians 2 says. Make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and one in mind. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, rather in humility value others above yourself, not looking to your own interest, but each of you to the interest of others. Man, now let's be honest, during this month, it's easy for us to focus on our family and their interests and what they want, but it's hard, isn't it, to think outside of just our own tribe, our own family. And I want to encourage you, you can do, a good way to give to bless somebody financially is just to write them a check and give it to them and say, hey, I want to bless you. That's a good thing, that's great. But there's a better way to do it. And I think the better way to do it is to sit down, to have a conversation with those people who are in need. Learn their name, learn their story. Enter into the hardships that they're dealing with right now. Think about it. God, if He wanted to, He's God, He can do whatever He wants. He could have looked down at us on earth and just said, you know what? Grace. I forgive you all. I'm just going to take away all your sins. There, it's done. And that would be a good thing. But Jesus did the better thing. He came and He dwelt with us. If we're not careful, I feel like the only time we bless people is by dropping a check off someplace or putting something on your computer and sending a blessing. I mean, that's a good thing. But you know who's missing out on the real blessing? When you don't sit down and get to know the person's story, you guys are both missing out on the blessing. So they brought the blessing and the good gift of possessions. As a matter of fact, we still have some homeless care packages out in the foyer. So if you want to grab a bunch of those, fill those up in a car, and go bless somebody, man, we want to give you the tools to do that. Okay? But the first gift they gave was the gift of possessions. And by the way, did you know that whenever you go out and you bless other people with possessions, what you're doing is you're fulfilling part of our purpose statement? You're going into our community, seeking relationships through service, and that's a beautiful thing. The next thing that I think they brought the gift of possessions, but they also brought the gift of encouragement. The gift of encouragement. I have this quote that makes me laugh. You change one letter in this quote, in this sentence, and it changes everything. The first part of the quote is, some bring joy wherever they go. You guys know people like this, that maybe if you see them at work and they're walking down the hallway, you just kind of immediately go, oh, Bill or Jill is here. They just always have such a great attitude. I can't wait to visit with them. When you get done talking with someone, they make you feel better about yourself. But some people bring joy wherever they go. Some bring joy whenever they go. I think that's funny. You just change the R to an N and it changes everything, okay? We all have people that when you see them leaving, you're like, oh, thank goodness, okay? Which of those two people are you? I hope you want to be that first person. I have met some people that, man, they are so filled with the Spirit, they are so filled with energy and life that I can't help but feel better once I talk to them. I hope that's you. I hope you are somebody who wants to be an encouragement to other people. Can you imagine how encouraged Mary and Joseph had to feel whenever these wise men showed up? I mean, it is most likely, if we have this picture here, they're in the manger. The time frame is totally off on this. We'll talk about the theology of bad activities later, okay? But chances are they didn't come to Jesus and Mary and Martha in the little cave there or in the inn. They came to them probably years later because we read that they were in a house during that time. But could you imagine the encouragement of maybe Mary going, I know that the angel spoke to us, and I know that the shepherds showed up, but years later, she might be thinking, is this really who we think this is? And all of a sudden, at least 3 men, probably more wise men show up. And they say, we have been looking for the one that would be the Savior of the world, and we have seen that he would be here by looking into the sky. Can you imagine how encouraging that had to be? Let's back up before that. Let's go back to what Tammy and I just read to the kids. Can you imagine when Mary, this teenage girl, chances are she wasn't over 18. She was probably 18 or maybe even younger in those days. That was just how the culture worked, that you would marry very young. Could you imagine this young teenage girl when she finds out that she's expecting? Can you imagine how heavy that had to feel in her heart? Can you imagine how terrified she was of telling her parents, of telling Joseph, of telling the community? And then I love that the angel tells Mary, go to your relative Elizabeth. She is in her old age, and she too is expecting. I love this picture. So I'm looking for some photos online. I just love this picture of Mary and Elizabeth. We zoom in so you can see their faces. You just see the smiles on these women as they realize God is doing something. He's giving us a blessing through this children. They encourage one another. Have you been an encouragement to somebody this last week? Proverbs 18:21 says, the tongue has the power of life and death. And so if you'll allow me, let me take a little licensing here. Another way I think you say that is the tongue can be used like a sword to destroy, hurt, maim, wound, and kill. And especially today in our society, with Twitter and with social media and with all the different ways that people can lash out at so many different people, too many times our tongue is used as something that's used to hurt and destroy and cause pain in people's lives. Or your tongue can be used maybe as a scalpel, the hands of a surgeon. And that surgeon can look into your heart and look into your life, and it can cut out the hurt and the pain and the things that are causing you sickness, and it can bring healing to you. It all depends on how you use your tongue. How are you going to use your tongue during this time of year? You guys might have noticed, as you walked in, these huge, gigantic, beautiful poinsettias. Well, these poinsettias, the church didn't buy these. Nobody in our congregation bought these. A woman outside of our congregation dropped these off the other day to our church. And her name is Cynthia, and Cynthia uses our building every now and then to train dogs, and Cynthia's husband, his name is Bruce, has cancer. And Cynthia and Bruce, they don't attend church anymore. But man, Cynthia several times will come down to the office when she knows that some of the staff or Tammy over here, and she'll just be dropping off a check to us, but she'll sit down and we'll just ask, how are you doing? And she'll just share all the hurt and pain and suffering we're doing. And honestly, we haven't spent tons of time with her. Over the past 2 months, we found out about Bruce having cancer. We've maybe spent 45 minutes visiting with her. But she came by with these poinsettias, and she gave us this cute little card, this red little card with these dogs driving a pickup truck. That's pretty adorable. And she just said, I want to tell you, thank you for your church's support as me and my husband have gone through this. It just takes a few minutes to be a blessing that week, just by asking questions. So I love that Danny is doing she's reminded us again and puts us back in line for us to be the gift there in December. We're going to buy lots of gifts, but the idea is really the best gift you can do is how you treat other people. And if you go to our website, we've got 10 suggestions, 10 challenges. If you're somebody if somebody challenges you to do something, then this is a challenge. If you're somebody like you could care less about challenges, then it's a suggestion, okay? But we want to encourage you guys to take a look at these 10 ideas, and these are just ways that you can bless people during the rest of this month. And a matter of fact, out of the 10 ideas, I think that about 6 of them require no finances at all. They just require your kindness. And I love number 7. Number 7 says, ask God who you need to reach out to through a text or a call. So December 25th is coming up, 12:25. And so what I've done on my phone, and maybe you want to do on your phone, is I've set an alarm on my phone that it goes off every day now at 12:25. And at 12:25, I'm just going to take a walk in 5 minutes, and I'm going to pray, God, who can I think of right now that needs encouragement? And as soon as God says, you know what about this person? I'm just going to send that person a text. And I may just say, hey, I want you to know I love you, I'm thinking about you. Or we throw out these suggestions. You could just send a text and ask somebody, how are you doing? How are you handling things right now? You could just send a text and you know what can I pray for you? God put you on my heart, and so how can I pray for you today? And then once they tell you, if you're anything like me, when people say, will you pray for me? As soon as I hang up, I pray for them because I'm not going to remember that night. So I pray for you right then, okay? But say a prayer for them. Or maybe just ask them, what can I do to serve you? Could you imagine if 365 times a year you just sent a text to somebody that said, God put you on my heart and I'm thinking about you? How that would change the people around you in great positive ways. And by the way, did you know that if you decide to be the gift, if you decide to do that for people who don't believe in Christ, you know what you're doing is you're going into our community and you're seeking relationships through serving other people. And if you decide to send a text to somebody in this room, somebody who is a Christian, somebody who is a follower, did you know what you're doing is you are walking through life with them together. And God can use that in powerful ways. The last thing is that they brought the gospel. As these men traveled, they went to Herod and they proclaimed, this baby is going to be the Savior of the world. They even proclaimed the gospel to Mary and to Joseph, saying, we've been looking and we've been searching, and here he is. They proclaimed that Jesus was the one who was going to rescue the world. We read that with those ideas before we read the verse. The word gospel, do you guys know it means good news? But here's the thing, honestly, if I was to say to you, I'm going to use a word that makes a lot of people feel uncomfortable today, and maybe it shouldn't, I don't know, but the word evangelism. If I get up here and I say, we need to do a better job evangelizing, be honest, does your heart jump and leap with joy? Or do you go, oh no? Is there fear? Is there concern? And I think for so many of us, there's fear and concern because we have been told by the world that what we have to tell them is bad news. I don't want to ever deliver bad news. Delivering bad news is the worst. I love delivering good news. I've got where if I have good news, I'm going to tell Tammy or other people, I try to stretch it out and make them like, what? Tell me. Okay. Good news is great news. What we have to share with other people isn't bad news. It's good news. And we have to keep that in mind. Matthew 28, this is the very last words that Jesus says to his followers before he goes back up to God. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them all my commands, and I tell you, I am with you even to the end of the age. And you guys have probably heard the pun, that too many times we treat the Great Commission like it's the Great Suggestion. We treat the Great Commission like it's the Great Suggestion. I heard one friend of mine say, at the end of the day, when everything gets said and done, the one thing we often don't say, and the one thing that doesn't get done, is us telling people the good news. We've got to change the way we view the good news. It's not bad news, it's good news. So, we have a tradition in our family. And our tradition is we will watch at least once Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And not only do we watch it, it is quoted throughout the month of December. Okay? We got lots of great one-liners. If you've never seen the movie, don't worry about it. I'm going to show you a short clip. My favorite character out of this Christmas movie is Cousin Eddie. Cousin Eddie is just clueless, and man, he has some of the funniest one-liners. People who are laughing, they relate, okay? They know, okay? With one of the lines I love to say all year round is, I'm going to get you something real nice, Clark. Okay, that's a great line, right? And I'm going to show you guys a short clip. And in this clip, the main actor, Chevy Chase there, what's his name? Sparky? That's not his real name. Lots of fans here. Okay, Clark Griswold. Okay, Clark has been expecting a bonus check from his work for the past several weeks, and it has not shown up. And if this check does not show up, he is in big financial trouble. Bad things are going to happen. And it is Christmas Eve, and the entire day is falling apart. The tree is caught on fire, a cat exploded, you name it, it's all gone wrong, okay? And all of a sudden somebody knocks at the door, and as Clark opens the door, it's the mailman. And he says, I have a delivery for you. It fell between my seats. I'm so sorry. I think it's from your company. And they hand him that piece of paper, and he is assuming, oh, thank goodness, it is my bonus. Because it's my bonus. And he gets big promises to his family. If this bonus is big enough, I'm flying everybody back out here. We're gonna have a big party. This is going to be a great, huge gift that God has given us through this great bonus. And I want you to watch how quickly this falls apart. Turn the volume up. Turn it real loud, please.
It's bigger than you expected? Smaller? What is it?
1 year membership in the Jelly of the Month Club.
Clark makes the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
That it is, Edward. That it is indeed.
I'm sorry.
This isn't the biggest bag over the head punch in the face I ever got.
Another line in our house. Anytime you have eggnog, it's good. It's good. Poor Clark, here he is. He thinks he's going to get this great, big, important gift, and it's the Jelly of the Month Club. And how many of you guys ever said this during Christmas? That's the gift that gets all year long, okay? Guys, reality is this. Some of you guys are going to find a perfect gift for that other person this season. And when they open it, they're going to look at it, and they're going to be so excited, they're going to cherish that thing. And you know what's going to happen to that gift? Chances are that in a few years it's going to be stuck in the closet. A few years later it's going to be stuck in a storage shed. Or it's going to be auctioned off in storage wars. It's going to be dropped off at Goodwill. Ultimately, we know where it's going to end up. It's all going to end up out in the trash heap somewhere. There's really only about one gift that I know of that you can give somebody that will last through their entire life. Throughout eternity. And that's the gift of the good news. That's the gift that there's hope. Man, this morning David and I were just talking about friends and family, things going on in our lives, and just the brokenness. And David and I just looked at each other and said, man, we are broken, messed up people, aren't we? And David said, but we shouldn't have good news to tell. Amen? Good sermon, by the way, David. Good lead worship and sermon. And so, what's the gift that you can give that's going to last the rest of somebody's life? It's the gift of the good news. Now, I got to be honest, again, as I said, evangelism, most of you guys go, oh, I don't like that right now. What does that mean? Okay, let me throw out a couple of suggestions on how you can share the gospel. The first way is this: just pray that God will open a door. Just start praying. God, will you open up a door for me to share the gospel? My brother-in-law has this great story where he attends the Littleton Church of Christ, and years ago they were doing a push to invite your friend to church, kind of Sunday thing. There's nothing wrong with that. That's great. But my brother-in-law said he was really nervous. He was uncomfortable, kind of inviting some people who maybe he didn't know if they believed or didn't believe or what. And so he said he just started praying and started praying and started praying. And he said one day he's sitting at his desk in his office, and a new person in his office just walked up to him and said, "Hey, Clint, me and my family just moved here this month, and we're looking for a church. We want to get involved in a church. Do you go anywhere?" Well, how hard was that? It may go that smoothly, it may not, but just start asking for God to open the door for you. How about this? Invite a friend on December 22nd. I know this sounds crazy. Apparently, it's still politically correct to be able to invite people to church on Easter or on Christmas. The rest of you are probably not politically correct. That's okay, it doesn't matter. But you know that it's pretty normal for people to invite other people to church during Christmas. And man, I am looking forward to and I'm excited about December 22nd, the message that God's already put on my heart that we can share that day. So maybe just invite someone to church for a second. Number 3, give Jesus a good name as we close up. Give Jesus a good name. I blew that recently. I had a great opportunity to give Jesus a good name, and I blew it. I don't know if I was being afraid, I don't know if I was being a coward, or if I just wasn't thinking, but Tammy and I were out in the truck a while back, and we saw a gentleman who had just broken down, or actually I guess he ran out of gas, and he ran out of gas in a really bad part of Boulder where just traffic was starting to back up, and we saw people trying to push him across to get gas, and it was a bad situation. And so, we now own a 4-wheel drive, and I love my 4-wheel drive, and any chance I get to pull anything from my 4-wheel drive, I'm going to pull something. Okay, so if you got a stump in your front yard, I'll pull it out. Don't even ask me, I'm just going to pull it out, okay? And so I see this guy, and I pull in front, and I jump out, and the truck that we bought used to be like a construction road truck because it has flashers on it, which is really fun to do at nighttime when it's snowing. You turn off your headlights, turn the flashers on, it's really fun, okay? But I turned my flashers on, and I jumped out this big yellow tow road, and I tell the guy, I was like, all right, you hook that on there, and I started hooking on, and he just looked at me, he said, I think the flasher's through him. He goes, "Do you do this professionally?" And I said, no, I'm just trying to help out. And we got hooked up, we drove over to get gas and everything. And once we drove off, I thought, that guy thought I did that professionally. And I had an opportunity just to say to him, no, I'm just a Christ follower. And I'm just trying to be a good neighbor. Do you know what good news that statement is? Do you know how unoffensive that statement is? And I blew it. And I don't want to blow it anymore. And so I want to do my best to give Jesus a good name by the way I treat people and serve people. And maybe the way you can give Jesus a good name for the next several weeks is give somebody some possessions. Bless them with possessions. Maybe the way you give Jesus a good name is by giving of time. Maybe you can give Jesus a good name by giving the gospel to somebody possible. And by the way, did you know that when you share the gospel, what you're doing is you're going into our community and you're seeking relationships through serving other people. And that's a beautiful thing. So, as you're getting ready to fill out all these little to and from cards this next year, or during the next month, I want to encourage you guys to slow down with it. Maybe every time you grab one of these things and you start to write from, and you're going to put your name on there, I want you to slow down and realize something. That God wants to use us in a desperate way to give a gift to others from God. But I love the fact that it's from God through you. And let's remember also, during this season, what we're told in Acts, it is more blessed to give than to receive.